Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be sharing with you some of our best tips and tricks on how you can get easier games in FIFA 23. Well, this video will offer you some things that you can do to put yourself in better situations to do so, and also some things that you might be doing wrong that are putting you at a massive disadvantage. So as always, to show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe, also most importantly hit the notifications bell so that you know exactly when new content is released. So the game mode that most people will want easier games in is FUT Champions. Whether that be FUT Champions Qualification or the Weekend League, these are the modes that we can actually impact the most with matchmaking compared to some of the others such as Rivals and Draft. But first, let's get into a myth that some people still have even to this day: bronze benching. Now, if you are older user to FIFA, you'll already know what this is, but for newer users, the belief is that if you add bronze players to your bench, this is going to bring your overall team rating down, and then this will match you up against lower rated teams, and thus those lower rated teams are likely to be lower quality players, as they're less likely to be able to obtain a large coin balance due to lower finishes in things like Rivals and Champs. Now, this is a completely false belief, and we ourselves have done many tests to get a clear answer. Ultimately, it makes zero difference who you have on the bench and your team rating in general, because matchmaking is based off of your record if you're in Champs, or your skill rating and division if you're in Rivals, your connection, and then your region, as generally the game will try to match you against people in the same continent as yourself. So let's move on to some things that you can actually do to help you with matchmaking. So the main issue that we see a lot of people make when it comes to both Qualification and the Weekend League is people rush in as soon as the competition opens. And this is a huge mistake that puts you at a big disadvantage straight away. So let's take a look at FUT Champions Qualification first. So FUT Champions Qualification opens up as soon as the Weekend League ends on Monday. And this is when we see a lot of people rush in and try to qualify as soon as possible. Now, maybe for some, it is the only time in which they have because their options are limited. Or another reason is people have other things in the game that they want to focus on that week, so they try and get their qualification out of the way as soon as possible. And the issue with playing first thing on a Monday, for example, is this is when a lot of the higher skilled opponents tend to try and qualify, but because they are more highly skilled, they're able to successfully beat most players comfortably and then focus on things for the rest of the week. Whereas if you are someone who isn't that higher skilled player, you are going to match up against these higher skilled opponents straight away. So if you are someone who struggles to qualify for the Weekend League, we suggest the easiest times probably being on a Wednesday, as most of the highest skilled players have rushed in and played on Monday and Tuesday and are already qualified. And some of the tactics that they imply is they'll wait until last minute for any stragglers who are trying to panic qualify last minute so they can get an easy ride in. Now, by circumventing this and playing in the midweek to give yourself the best opportunity to avoid the majority of high level players, thus giving yourself the best chance to avoid matching up against them, as they've either already qualified or are still waiting to do so later on in the week. Now, evidently this is not 100% guaranteed, but it certainly ups your chances of avoiding those good players and increases your chances of a successful qualification. And as always, like everything, getting probability on your side is the best thing you can do. So now let's move into the Weekend League and what you can do to improve your chances of favourable matchmaking then. Now, before we continue, if you want us to make more videos like this one, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And also make sure you comment below right now with your questions and thoughts as to what other videos you'd like us to make going forwards. So now let's get back into that Weekend League matchmaking tip. Now, we again see very similar mistakes from people who might say, I always get hard games. These people, again, are usually people who rush into the Weekend League first thing on a Friday morning. Now, some people may have no choice because of other commitments such as work or school or anything else, in which case your options are quite limited, so just enjoy the game and have fun if that is the only time that you can play. But for those who do have the luxury of choosing when to play their games, the issue with playing on Friday morning is, again, a lot of high level players and pro players and those elite level players play early to get their games done, especially to get those reward packs if there is a new promo on Friday, because obviously the cards are at their most expensive on a Friday, so you want to have packs ready. And this pattern generally occurs again on Saturday morning because a lot of players will finish off the remainder of their games. So we do suggest avoiding these times as they are always the most difficult. So you are probably asking, what is the best time to play? Now, from our own experience, We have found the later that you play your games, the more favourable the matchmaking is, and there's a few reasons for this. Firstly, there are more players playing in the evening, especially after 4 PM when a lot of people finish work and school and their other commitments, which means there's a higher pool of lower quality players for you to match up against. And as we mentioned before, a lot of higher skilled players begin early, so they're often out of your ELO bracket before you've even started your weekend league. And a bigger reason for playing later, such as a Sunday, is because FUT Champs matchmaking is based off of your connection and your record, meaning it will try and match you with players who are near you, but also players that have a similar record to you. But as there's less players on a Sunday, due to the fact that most people have already finished, you often get looser matchmaking, and it will match you with players who have a very similar record but not an identical record, and this will often benefit in some slightly easier games. Now this is a well-known trick for some high-level players, so we recommend not leaving it super late on a Sunday like midnight or something, because this is when a lot of those guys that are on 17, 18 wins will look for some easy games late on in order to get to that 20-0, so we don't want you to fall foul of that either. Now we have one final tip, and that is not to play games around the 6 PM content time, specifically between about 5 and 7 PM UK time. And the reason for this is a lot of people log on in this time to see what that new 6 PM content is, and it's even worse on Fridays when there's a brand new promo. It's even worse on a Friday when there's a brand new promo. And as we know, when more people log on to the game in these times, the servers can be overloaded, which often slows down the gameplay. But in reality, it's not the gameplay being slower, it's the game taking more time to register your inputs due to an overloaded server. And as some of you may have experienced, you might even get disconnects from games. So it is best to not play at these times between 5 and 7 PM UK time. So to sum up, we do suggest the best times for you to play is around 1 to 5 PM and 8 PM to 11 PM on any of the given days to give yourself the best matchmaking odds. So there are our tips that we use to give ourselves the best chance at more favorable matchmaking, and also some of our tips on what not to do at certain times to avoid any issues, such as those overloaded servers or disconnects. So as we said earlier in the video, if you want us to continue to make more videos like this, then we do need your support. So be sure to smash that like button and make sure you subscribe and turn on that notifications bell. And also right now, go to the comments and let us know what other topics and videos you want us to cover, as we always read the comments to decide what videos to create next. And if you want to ask us any questions on FIFA 23, make sure you do join our Discord. The links to all those things are down in the description. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.